Hi there, welcome in. I'm Barbara Marville Kelly. Thank you so much for joining us. I want to ask you a question. How safe do you feel? Are you safe in your home, in your school, in your churches? You know, we're living in some very volatile times, and I am here with Jim Howard, who is going to put you at ease with being safe, feeling safe, and some of the things that you can do. Welcome, Jim.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me.
You know, when I met you, and I met your wife initially, and heard what you were doing in the community, I thought, wow, this is really something that we need everywhere. Feeling safe in our world, in the volatile times that we have, you never know when we may be faced with a precarious situation.
Sure.
Now, you have Trinity Security Allies,
Right.
and you have 40 years in law enforcement. You're a detective. You're in the Air Force Reserve, and you're into executive protection. That's quite a bit. So I feel like I'm sitting next to my own personal bodyguard right here and now. Give me a little bit of information on how you got started in this. I mean, it goes back, doesn't it?
It goes back, yeah. When I was 16 years old, my parents started to have problems at home. And we were living in a small town, and we went to a small church, and one of the deacons stepped in to kind of give them counseling. And after a period of time, my father, who was very abusive, it became a place to where my mother had to leave the house. And so it didn't go well, and the violence continued. And then one Sunday night after church, my father walked out behind the deacon that was helping them out and shot and killed him in the parking lot. So I didn't really understand why, and had a hard time understanding about a loving God, different things like that. And got into police work, kind of one of these things where God had a plan that I didn't know about. And then fast forwarding to 2002, started going to a church that they came to me and asked me if I would help them set up a safety team. And so once we started to set up this safety team, it really dawned on me this is what God had been preparing me for a long time. And what a lot of churches don't realize is that having an active shooter is one of these type of things that it's a rarity and oddity. But all the things that happen inside of a church, it's like a small town. I mean, you have to understand, you have domestic issues, you have domestic violence, you have mentally handicapped people that show up on your door. You have people that come in, wolves in sheep clothing that are trying to take advantage of what they consider a soft target. So because of that and getting speaking engagements around the United States, we decided to form this company, Trinity Security Allies, to help out churches. Our ministry is your church's safety. So,
Well, there is, that really gives me, it gives me that reason to be comfortable going out in the public with somebody like yourself that really has our back, that is really engaging in the community to educate us. So I say your story comes from passion to protecting,
Sure.
really, because of that personal family history. How can we be safe today?
Well, we teach classes on what we call situational awareness, and it's just being aware of your surroundings. If you're out shopping late at night and you get ready to walk to your car, if all of a sudden you start to feel uncomfortable, then just turn around and go back inside the store. Know what's going on. If you walk into a restaurant, find out where the exits are in case you had to make a quick exit. It's just things that we try to teach people. The one thing that we teach ladies is as they're walking toward their car when they're shopping is to have their keys in their hands, because so many times they're walking toward their car, they don't think about it. They have to fumble around inside their purse, which takes their eyes down and away from their surroundings. And then, they look up and a person's standing right there. So it's looking for the warning signs. We grew up looking at warning signs. A whole bunch of bees in a tree was a beehive. A barking dog, you didn't pet it. These are the type of things that we learned as children. And what we do is just come out and educate you on observing, assessing the situation, and then reacting to it.
And so that takes an amount of focus and concentration too, and that's something that you teach, that
Yes.
awareness.
Yes.
Just that little tidbit there of women having their keys in their hands, so that they because that's when we become easy prey.
Sure.
Because
Sure.
those evildoers out there are looking for people that aren't paying attention to their surroundings.
Exactly. And we run into that all the time. We just did a safety awareness presentation, situational awareness, and we found out later on that one of our members of Keep It Local had their car stolen from them. Just the keys right out of their hand and the car stolen. So, it happens everywhere. And we just really, really have to pay more attention to our surroundings, just because it is a changing world, and we continue to have issues everywhere, not just in the United States, all over the world. So we just have to be more aware.
So with Trinity Security Allies, you feel that the education is really what we need in order to help maybe even save some lives if we
Sure.
just educate ourselves. So, and you're going around, you doing different meetup groups, you're educating, you're doing demonstrations and things of that nature. The other thing that I want to talk about, which isn't my favorite thing to talk about, guns. However, it could save your life.
Sure, sure. We teach concealed weapon classes, concealed weapon permit classes, and one of the first things that I tell students when they walk in the door is that I'm going to try to talk them out of this, because I do believe in protecting yourself, but you have to understand that if you ever were to pull a gun out, your life completely changes. And it changes mentally, physically, the trauma and what you go through. If you have to use it, it's going to affect you for the rest of your life. So like I said, when they come in and we start to teach, we kind of say, you know what, if you're not really sure about this, you shouldn't take the class. You really shouldn't. It's just that much of a change in your life if you have to use it.
And that's really good advice, because maybe not everybody should carry. But if you do, when we met previously, you explained the fact that if you're going to take a concealed weapons class, is to take it from someone that is highly credible,
Right.
certified in that whole arena.
Right. Well, and the thing that I was telling you about is that before I could even become an instructor with the state of Florida, because I'm a certified instructor with the state of Florida, I had to go through classroom, and then I had to go out on the range and qualify on the range, and it was stressful. And then had to go back through classroom again, and then take an internship. So it wasn't one of these type of things where you go, and not knocking the NRA, but you go to the NRA and you have a 2-day class, and then they give you, a piece of paper that says you're now an instructor, and that to me is not what it's all about. We're educating people on how to defend themselves. I cannot tell you how many times I've talked people out of firearms and they've used pepper spray, because they feel like they could use that a lot quicker than they could a firearm.
Really?
And so these are the type of things that we work with, and we teach them on whether or not they're going to be able to actually protect themselves one way or the other. We still want them to protect themselves. Pick up anything that's next to you and throw it. Use it as something to get away from the person. Distract the person and get away from them.
Exactly. Now, you were in the office with me weeks ago, and you gave me some tips on what could happen if somebody came in
Right.
to our studio or whatever.
Right.
So can you share with our viewers, let's just say they're in their place of business, and something happens, they're in their office, they're in their desk. Share with our viewers what you shared with me, just a few little tidbits.
Sure. The Department of Homeland Security comes up and says that they have this program called Run, Hide, and Fight. And it's a good program to get you interested and started in it. But the first thing that we teach is the focus. Because in a building like your building right here, if a person were to walk in and fire a gun, you don't know where it's coming from. It's going to bounce off the walls and not really give you a location. So one of the things that we teach is, before you just jump up and start to run, is that you focus. And two of the things that we tell you to focus on: focus where the danger is, and then focus why you want to survive. Have pictures of your children, your husband. Is it an anniversary coming up, a birthday coming up? And focus on why you want to survive. And then from that point, try to disappear, get out of sight. If a person is standing right in front of you, find something on your desk that you can throw at them, because once you do something like that, that gives you an opportunity to move away from that shooter. So, like I said, we train to disappear. That's the thing we train a lot of people to do. At our church, if we have an active shooter, we tell everybody to get down and disappear, because if the shooter cannot see you, he doesn't have a target. So lock your doors, turn off your lights, get behind a desk if you possibly can. And if you can get out of the building, get out of the building. But make sure you know where the shooter is before you start to run.
Exactly. What about locked doors on offices? If you're behind a door that is closed and locked, what kind of message does that give?
Well, what we've noticed in shootings and active shooters is they're trying to do as much damage as they possibly can in a short amount of time. So if they come up on a locked door, one of the things that they do is they move to the next door. If you go back and look at, let's say, the University of Virginia shooting, the shooter kept coming back to the same room because it was the only one that he was finding unlocked. So if you got a locked door, they're going to move to the next one because they're in there for a short period of time. Most active shootings happen between 3 to 5 minutes, and then it's over with. So they're going to do as much damage as they possibly can. So being behind a locked door, they're going to move on. They're not going to stop there.
Exactly. Those are really good points. We just have a couple minutes here remaining. So I'm thinking, you know what? Education is really key. In this last 2 minutes, what are the 3 top things that you would say? I know, be focused, but a couple other things.
Well, when we go into churches and we teach the congregation, and we teach that the church ministry or the church safety team should come from the church. And what we teach is a little simple acronym called OAR: observe, assess, and react. And what we're looking at is when you observe, observe with diligence. You know, when you're looking at a person, are you seeing them tense? Are they crying? Are they talking to themselves? Do they have big smiles on their face? At our church, we try to touch you 3 times before you get in the door. We have somebody that's out in the parking lot that talks to you. We have a greeter that talks to you. And then once you get inside, there's somebody there that wants to talk to you. And then what we're doing is, after you're observing this person, to assess it, to see, is it 110 degrees outside and he's got a heavy jacket on, you know? Is there something bulging? Is he continuously, you know, fidgeting with stuff? These are the type of things. And then, you know, it could be something that doesn't look right, but observe it and then react. If you see something that needs to be brought to somebody else's attention, then your reaction is to get a hold of that person and let them know about it. So like I said, it's very easy. It's kind of one of these things that we joke around about. If you don't do the OAR, you're up the creek without an oar, you know? So observe,
very good.
Assess, and then react.
That is very, very good. Well, I'll tell you, those tips could actually save people's lives right here from this segment today. And if you want to get a hold of Jim in this last few seconds, I definitely recommend go to trinitysecurityallies.com. You can call them at 727-267-0590. And the world is already a better place because you are here. And I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
And good luck. Good luck. And thank you